Joseph, I've heard about set-off clauses in contracts. Can you explain what they are and why they're important?
Absolutely, Linda. A set-off clause allows one party to offset a debt they owe with a debt owed to them by the other party. Instead of both sides paying each other separately, they can subtract the smaller amount from the larger, streamlining the process.
So, it's like canceling out debts to simplify payment?
Exactly. Let's say you're a supplier. You owe your client $10,000 for an overpayment, and that same client owes you $15,000 for a new shipment. Instead of transferring money back and forth, the debts are offset, and the client just pays the remaining $5,000.
That sounds convenient. What are the main benefits?
Set-off clauses simplify accounting, save time, reduce transaction fees, and help both parties manage cash flow. They can also reduce the risk of default when mutual debts are outstanding.
Are there different types of set-off?
Yes, 3 common types. First, legal set-off, which arises automatically in some jurisdictions when debts are due and certain conditions are met. Second, equitable set-off, based on fairness, even if the debts aren't directly related. And third, contractual set-off, which is explicitly written into the contract. That last one is the most predictable, especially in complex or international agreements.
Can you give a practical example of contractual set-off?
Sure. Imagine a freelancer is hired to design a website. They owe the company $2,000 for software licenses, while the company owes them $5,000 for completed work. A contractual set-off clause allows them to apply the $2,000 against what they're owed, so the company just pays $3,000.
Is there a typical way that clause is worded?
Yes. Here's a common example. Each party reserves the right to set off any amounts payable to the other party against any amounts that the other party owes to them, whether under this agreement or any other agreement, provided such amounts are due and undisputed. That kind of clause keeps things clean, fair, and legally enforceable.
What should parties be cautious about when using set-off clauses?
Good question. The main challenges involve timing and validity of the debts. If the amounts aren't due, are disputed, or aren't clearly defined, set-off could trigger conflict. Also, laws vary, especially in cross-border deals, so you'll want to tailor the clause to the relevant jurisdiction.
How does this affect the business relationship?
When clearly agreed upon, it helps. Set-off clauses reduce disputes, promote trust, and speed up financial reconciliation. But if the clause is vague, or imposed unfairly, it can damage the relationship. Clarity is everything.
Are there legal limitations on using set-off?
Yes. In some sectors, like banking, construction, or public contracts, set-off rights may be restricted. And in insolvency cases, courts may limit or disallow set-off to protect creditors. Also, local law might require debts to be mutual, due, and enforceable.
How can parties tailor these clauses to suit their needs?
Through careful negotiation. Decide up front what types of obligations can be offset. Should the clause apply across multiple contracts? Should it only apply to invoices over a certain amount? The more specific the clause, the better it protects both parties.
Thanks, Joseph. This has been really helpful. It's good to understand how these clauses work and how to use them effectively.
You're very welcome, Linda. A well-drafted set-off clause turns complexity into clarity. It helps manage financial obligations, reduce legal risk, and keep business relationships strong.